Hello there, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family, as Cindy's grabbing her little, her thingy.
Well, I always like to start things off in a very positive manner, and this seems to help.
Yeah, tuning forks, there's been so many requests for tuning forks and dings, and so Cindy has that. Do you want to give it a ding? Here's your hockey puck, because this is what she uses.
Okay.
She uses a hockey puck, and no, she didn't hurt her knee playing hockey. But she has been using a walker for 8 days now and can't bend it fully, but she is improving.
Improving quite a lot. Thank you. So, I want you guys to think of a happy thought. Okay, just think of a very happy thought, where you want to be in this world, when, who, and hold that thought. Okay, now hold on to that energy. Drink lots of water.
And brace yourselves for the news.
Oh, yes, brace your... Okay, so let's just kind of compartmentalize that energy, the happy energy, and let's go to the news.
Yes. And do check out evolutionaryenergyarts.com if you want to learn more about us and what we do when we're not making videos. And as always, make sure you're subscribed to both channels, as they will have unique videos on them. And we already did one over on Evolutionary, and this one would normally go up on Evolutionary, although I'm leaning towards putting it up on EEARTS to kind of keep one per day on each video channel as much as possible, although this is more of a evolutionary video. Today's just a busy day with people as well. So Arizona certifies the 2022 election, declares Katie Hobbs the winner, and we shall see how things still progress, because now lawsuits can be declared. And again, we are in, revolutionary times.
I mean, it's huge. We were just talking to a family member, and she's really excited. Even though there's a lot of challenges here right now, she's excited, and we're excited because we're going to see a lot of change.
Absolutely. Explosions rock 2 Russian air bases far from Ukrainian front line. Blasts at military facilities raise possibility Kiev has found ways to target Russia's long-range bombers. And yeah, this, as you see here, that's a Tu-95 bomber. This is potentially a very, very a big escalation. It has the potential to be a major escalation. As we'll take a peek. Well, you can see it there. What we're looking at, as you see, this is the Ukraine. This is the boundaries of the Ukraine. Let's just say prior to 2014, as you know, this is Crimea down there. And again, I'm always fascinated to see that we have wars always around these areas where there could be relics of our true history that's been hidden. I mean, those long elongated skulls we've talked about so many times. Seems like, genetically they have roots over here in the Black Sea, at least in one point in time, perhaps, right around that, period just after the Younger Dryas cataclysm, about 12,700 years ago. So this is what's currently occupied by Russia. And this is where Ukraine has regained it. So as Ukraine has been regaining the lost territory just consistently, Russia's been backtracking. But again, be aware too that when it gets pretty cold, anytime now really, and the ground is really solid, then you may see massive tank movement, as my dear beloved brother Dave over in the UK was saying to me today. Don't forget, the ground's getting frozen hard over there. You might see something massive heading out of Russia. And it's like, oh no, we don't forget that. These blasts, though, as you can see, are far away from the border. As you look at this down here, 300 miles, right, is this full measure. This is over 300 miles away, way away from the border of Ukraine. So is this a major escalation? Is this going to trigger something big? It certainly feels like it could. It really, really does feel like this could be a big escalation going on. What are you picking up?
A lot of times we just pick up information that we need to keep an eye on things because there are triggering events. And this definitely feels like a triggering event that we should keep our eyes on. But also at the same time, I understand things need to change. And in order for things to change, chaos needs to ensue. But not so many people need to get hurt. So let's keep our heart chakras open that people find whatever relief that they need and whatever relief that they're looking for.
As we're looking at all those people gathering, underground for protection. And metrics show Ukraine's connectivity has been impacted in multiple regions amid new Russian missile attacks on Monday morning. This is also something we've been talking about with many people. It's kind of like get ready for that period and be ready, please, for that period when anywhere we are in this world, we might have disruption to the grid, to cell service, to even basic utilities. So we need to make sure that we're covered because we're really going into a different period of time where things are going to get to be just a lot more challenging. And, again, a new phase in the war. This is a nuclear air base, and this is only 150 miles from Moscow. So, you could imagine this relatively speaking. It's definitely a wake-up call, a close call, and it could signal a bigger, different response than what we've seen so far. So as we see here, 2 Russian nuclear bombers reportedly damaged today in that blast. Tu-95 planes known as Bears, only operational propeller strategic bombers. They've been used for bombing Ukraine in recent past. If the news is correct, and it appears to be, this is a serious, serious breach. And we also see that new Ukrainian drones do have the range. They have a range of 1,000 kilometers. So that puts all the Russian positions from the Finnish border all the way down to Dagestan in range, even as deep as Kazakhstan can be hit. That's a game changer, absolutely. So, we also have, heard so many reports on just the fact that weapons are running out in so many NATO countries. As you look at this tile, we haven't gotten this figured out yet, Pentagon says, of Ukraine aid. Did I say Ukraine? What's a Ukraine? Ukraine, I don't know, a brain spasm there. Ukrainian aid as U.S. runs low on arms to send. And we've seen this with many other countries where they say, oh, yeah, they're running out of things to send. Do you think it could be so that we get to a new phase and then it really starts? And then, at some point in time, all these sleeper cells that are inside the U.S., just to talk plainly, they're going to be activated. We might have seen them activated in North Carolina already.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we have multiple things kind of springing out right now. So it's a good time to stabilize ourselves because the energy on this planet reacts from our energy. So the more stable we can be, the easier we can get through this thing.
So urgent outlays, increase money, send more, and then yet again, it's just insanity because who's funding this? We are, even though we personally disapprove of it. And, again, you'll have people that say, well, look what Russia did. Yeah, again, but people on all sides, any side you want to look at, are being used and manipulated. Because, again, it's always order out of chaos, and division leads to greater control by the powers that be. And as people are waking up to everything else that's going on in this world, as there's this great awakening concerning issues where the vast majority of the population trusted the power structure to be telling them the truth and that they were just perfectly fine going along and doing something, and now the realization that, maybe we shouldn't have done something. Or what the bleep did I do? This is exactly where, okay, well, hey, You won't be thinking about that if we're just worried about bombs dropping on us now, will we?
And then the other horrible part is like we have to rely on the media to show us some kind of truth. And they're going to show us what they show us. And then the truth of it, well, that's that. So we're back to just worry about your own inner core.
Canada plans to sail more warships through the Taiwan Strait to affirm the waters claimed by China are international after Ottawa released an Indo-Pacific strategy that described Beijing as an increasingly disruptive power. Yeah, there's what's superficially said, and then there's the backdoor deals that are going on constantly. It's the wink, wink, nod, nod. Oh, don't you dare come break into my house. And then when they say that, they leave the door open a little bit. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Maybe even go in the window and give the thumbs up.
You know what I call that is stop it some more.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, what happens around the holidays is you'll see, as we see here, you got carrier strike group. There's actually 3 represented here, even though there's 2 diamonds close to home, and then the Kearsarge and the baton coming in. It's the holidays, so there's a lot of people that want shore leave, and there's going to be a lot of people that get to, visit family and all. And if we look at it historically, we will see there's more import around the holidays. Does that make you a bigger target? Does that make you, is it, that Pearl Harbor type thing, where it's, this is a good opportunity. Perhaps nothing will happen. I still feel there's things that have to happen before the attack on NATO truly starts, or I should say the attack on the U.S., because it could be something else. I mean, we don't know if there would be another escalation, maybe Lithuania, maybe Poland, maybe something new will break out in the Middle East. Maybe it'll be something like Israel and the U.S. hitting Iran, or maybe it'll just be Israel hitting Iran and having that escalate. It could be so many different things. But I still feel that they really want to see an escalation of chaos from a civil point of view in the U.S. first. And when we look at this, you have the Mackinac Island over here as well. So a little bit off from the typical alignment. We've been keeping 3 and even sometimes 4 carrier strike groups within range of China and Korea and Japan. So this feels like this is a transitory thing. It could be just holiday related, but you never know. Brazil military kills Red Command cartel leaders, prepares to take over. There's signs that it's going to get a lot hotter down in Brazil. So, the protests that developed over the election results, now it's escalated to where the military has taken out some cartel members that, according to some sources, have ties with the party that officially won down in Brazil. So we're talking about the ones on the left there. And some are viewing taking these cartel leaders out as a sign that the military is going to be leaning right, which some of the people out there protesting have been calling on the military to back the right. So are we looking at a civil war basically developing in Brazil? And again, I think there's going to be a civil war / revolution / whatever you want to call it in a vast number of countries around the globe. And this is Brazil, by the way, and this is just showing you the movement of military hardware. Yeah, it looks like a tank, maybe 2 tanks, but then it goes on and we see more and more hardware that's being transported. Again, good old Nostradamus, when he wrote to his son, he said there's going to be that third WW, but there's also going to be worldwide revolution going on. And we're seeing it all lay out just like that. This guy was gifted. Got to give it to you. He was definitely a gifted seer. And again, the powers that be, of course, control all the history books. They control everything. So they can also distort, rewrite, hide, twist, as they do in everything that they get their hands in.
Well, you know what's really important though is that humans have this innate ability to sense and trust information. So the beings that actually do put this information out there, they need to be real. They need to have walked the earth because there has to be some belief in them.
Resilience declared war. 35 days of protest against the corruption at military headquarters, demanding for Article 142, which is constitutional intervention by the armed forces to retake their country. Yeah, this is where that feels like this is going. As you see here, these are the protests. And again, the way they do it, if you look at this and think, hey, that's back in April. No, that's December 4th. So, again, there you go. Just so you know, it's December 4th. That's the way they do the dates. Protesters stormed government palace in Mongolia amid coal scandal. Now, Mongolia is really totally under CCP control as well. And here you see November 5th, protesters stormed the government palace. Riots broke out amid the loss of about 12 billion worth of coal that was supposed to be exported to China. Mongolia is not an easy place, as you see people raiding the capital there. And, of course, that gets us thinking about Genghis Khan, gets us thinking about Tataria, all that, which, again, that was a worldwide civilization. It wasn't just Siberia. It wasn't just Russia. It wasn't just Mongolia. It was like Atlantis. It was a worldwide civilization, and it wasn't too long ago.
That's what we're picking up. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and we're going to have more coming on that. We're just trying to get clarity on everything that comes through. Iran announced the abolition of the morality police after 2.5 months of daily protests that left at least 448 dead, as you see these protests ongoing. We don't know. We probably will never know the true number over there. You can see things are still ongoing. It looks pretty darn chaotic. Lots of police out on motorcycles. And see, this will boggle the mind. But if you look at World War One, and you look at Russia, World War One and World War Two. What side? Well, you had Russia in World War One. World War Two, you had the Soviet Union, and basically they were allied with the Allies. Of course, there was a non-aggression treaty given by Germany and the Soviet Union with each other, which was then broke. And in fact, Germany and the Soviet Union decided to invade Poland and split it up between them. And then Germany eventually ended up attacking the Soviet Union, which was a completely idiotic, stupid blunder, because all they had to do was just keep focusing on England. England would have fallen. And, in time they could have gone and focused on the Soviet Union later, or they could have, stayed allied with the Soviet Union. But the purpose is not always winning a war. It really isn't the purpose. It's not about winning a war. It's about creating the atmosphere for more change that leads to more division and more opportunities for greater control by that controlling unit.
And definitely, for sure.
There's a lot of things that don't make sense when you look at history. Why did the driver of the car drive the Archduke Ferdinand down the wrong road? Was it really an accident? Was he texting somebody? No, they didn't have text in those days. So, again, he gets assassinated, and there we go. We're off and running. It's always this way. When you really look closely, you'll see things that don't make any sense at all. Stupid military blunders, things like that. Apparently insane moves, but they're not insane, and they're not blunders. They've been thought out purposefully in many cases. So at the same time as the nationwide call for protests and strikes on December 5th through 7th in Iran, this video shows how the Islamic Republic is using a public school grounds as its base of oppression for its forces. As we can see, again, truly, there's never a thought truly given to the people. It's always about, it's about the people, it's about the people. No, it's never about the people. It's about, again, these humans that have no cares for anybody else, that they will do whatever to better themselves at the expense of everybody else. And, unfortunately, it is the way this political system works, whether we're talking communist, socialist, dictatorships in general, or even apparent democracies, which really are not democracies in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of things like they have these court systems here, and many times people might have to go to family court, and then the family court always says, well, we're just doing what we're doing because it's all about the children. It's all about the children. And really, they're just feeding each other like fuel, loads and loads of money. And all these politicians, they're just constantly feeding each other money, saying, oh, yeah, well, we want what's best for the people. No, that couldn't be further than the truth.
Yeah, we'll see if, many of these politicians end up being clinically obese when the rest of the population is starving because they're eating crickets.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to find that they're still going to really need to lose a little weight there, as their diet won't change. Massive anti-government protests exploding in Peru as well. Everywhere we look, world unrest is erupting everywhere. And he's talking about climate fascism. Well, that's, again, it's just a means to an end. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, WF young leader, poster boy there, Fidel's love child, met by protests in Surrey Friday night as protesters gathered outside an event attended by the PM as British Columbians continue to struggle with inflation. Yeah, and when he disappeared before, he was panicking. He was scared, and he went into hiding. He wanted reassurances from the true powers that be that he would be safe, and he got them, and that's when he started to show his face again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we have a Canadian Paralympian veteran offered suicide by the Trudeau government after asking for an in-home chairlift. Guys, veteran, serve the country. Here I am. I can't get around. Well, hey, we could give you a discount on a suicide. Yeah. That's your response. This is really showing their true colors as we see women marching in Toronto, Canada against Justin Trudeau. 8-year honeymoon is over. Wait, didn't he just win re-election? Hey, wait, didn't Gavin Newsom just win re-election? Didn't Macron just win re-election? I mean, before 2017, all these people have just, won re-election again. How does that work? How does that work? Well, I guess we just look back to Arizona.
Or could the illusion be over?
But see, the thing to realize, too, is they want the illusion being over. They do want it to end because, they're going to, again, get their order out of chaos. But yet, what are we to do? We are to just keep pointing it out as much as we can, but don't let ourselves be pulled into it. Just look again to the 1930s in Germany and all the fights that went on between the communists and the socialists. It was nonstop. It was one act of terror after another. And this is the same thing that's being brought about here in the U.S. and in other NATO countries, all over the world. All over the world. We were talking about Columbus, Ohio yesterday and people marching. This is what they want. They want factions marching, and they want to just set them off on a collision course. Now, that's when that's fully underway, that's when we're at that point in time that at any time we could have that Red Dawn scenario. It's once that comes, then we could have that Red Dawn scenario. But I still think that's going to come first. That's just what it feels like to me. As we look at Dublin, Ireland, the marching crowd is over 1 kilometer long as it heads towards government buildings. Freedom of speech. Yeah, no, it's everywhere. This is everywhere. Portugal. Yeah, anti-VPAS, anti-Agenda 2030, anti-constitutional changes, anti-government lives. Lies. And this is over in Germany. This is every day. This is over in Austria. It's everywhere. As Biden remains silent on attempted Kavanaugh assassination. Nicholas Roski was indicted this week for the alleged assassination of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. And still, Biden hasn't spoken after the attempted assassination over a week after the fact. And this is thought to be the second official attempt. And he hasn't said anything. Well, again, it's obvious what's going on for those that are watching. I know you guys get it. Christmas markets are closed across Dusseldorf following threats to crash a truck into revelers. Yeah, it happened back in 2016. A car plowed into a busy Christmas market. And here you have Biden praising U2. 150 albums sold, amongst the most ever of all time. Why does he like U2? I didn't know he liked U2. Maybe he likes Bono's voice. Oh, wait, that's right. They're part of the same team. Yeah, there's member of the few. Oh, yeah, very vocal member of the few. Here you go, 3 years ago.
But you, on the other hand, sent your son over there to get a job and work for a gas company that he had no experience in gas or nothing, in order to get access to the president. So you're selling access to the president just like he is. So
you're a damn liar, man. That's not true. And no one has ever said that. No one has heard that.
I see it on the TV.
You see it on the TV. No, I really do. And by the way, that's why I'm not sympathetic. I get up and
Ooh, you got irritated. You're a damn liar. Yeah, Hunter has nothing to do with Ukraine. Who's the liar?
I know. I mean, they keep putting information up there, but I haven't seen anything happen. But I am glad. It is a little bit refreshing to see someone say something in a real meeting. But that was black-eyed Biden. That was that mean Biden.
Yeah, maybe the real one's been gone for years. Doesn't matter. They still got puppets up. It doesn't matter. They're all puppets. So it doesn't matter if they replace the real one with another one. If that's no longer Hillary, she's really been gone. Well, it hasn't changed anything, has it? I mean, it's still the same puppet show, just a new puppet. And here you see Warnock rolling in maskless to his own event in East Athens, where attendees were forced to put on masks. Again, it's always do what we say, don't do what we do. This is what's so apparent. Do what we say, don't do what we do. And this is for Cindy. Someday, she's going to be on the back of something like that. And you know what? She could handle it. Humanity needs to run free. Humanity needs to kick off these parasites that have been leeching off of us and the entire planet and every entity on this planet. They are nothing but low-level parasites. That's all they are. And they are stuck. They're not going anywhere. They could have their fancy houses. They could have their, fancy cars, etc. They are so stuck with no future. And they've chosen this for themselves.
It's that freedom of expression and expressing that emotion any way you choose. That's what brings growth.
Truly, they are to be pitied. And, I know there's a lot of people that have a problem with pitying them when you know the levels of evil that's been done upon this planet, to say the very least. But again, forgiveness is for those that do the forgiving. And, their house of cards is going to collapse. They just want to pull everybody in there with them while it collapses.
Mm-hmm. Well, it has started to collapse. That's why they're so scared.
Absolutely. So don't be pulled in, and, don't allow yourself to be turned on your brother or your sister, your neighbor, etc. We have to realize that the path, again, what violent revolution ever lasted? None. It's just nonstop violent revolutions, violent wars. Because, again, they want us to lower our vibration. So, I do feel bad for all those soldiers out there on the Russian side, on the Ukrainian side, all those that are taking part, all those people that are actively going as mercenaries and just going, because they think that they're serving a particular cause. But in reality, all they're doing is really just playing into the hands of these controllers.
Free yourself from that matrix, that construct that they have created for you.
It's again, viewing the world in a different way. And we're given Darwinian evolution, where it's kill or be killed, survival of the fittest, etc., etc. Well, evolution is something that is a process that's utilized. It's utilized by the creator of this universe. So there is a creation and there is evolution. It's a natural progression and order of things. Nothing ever stays the same. You're not the same person today than you were yesterday. Every person you come in contact with, everything you see, everything you read, everything you eat, it all affects you. It's all changing you all the time. We are energy, we are consciousness that's constantly evolving and changing.
From one lifetime to the next.
Absolutely. So again, recognize this for what it is and do not allow yourself to become like the captors. Again, it's that what's that syndrome's name? I forget the name of that syndrome, where somebody that say is kidnapped, if you give it enough time, they'll actually come to view the kidnappers in a good light. There is nothing to emulate in this system. There's nothing to take from this system and apply it to your life. The thing we should do is exact opposite. And again, it's time to escape this dark matrix and not add to it.
Indeed.
As always, much love. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.